So a few people have asked me about this, so I thought I would just do another another walk around here. I have changed it slightly recently, so I've tried to go for slightly more practical, as maybe will become obvious. But at the same time, still so well. You know what? It doesn't do me any favors in terms of, dude, you got a problem, sort of thing. But starting over by the door, got another symbol case there full of 18s and, well, maybe 18s and sort of 16s and 17s and things. Gig case. Then we got some. Well, I've got 4 lots of snares basically. That is a flight case, which has got most of my electronics in it. So I don't use them very often, so I figured it would just be easy to put that there and put stuff on it. So, you know, just a selection. The Pearl Exotic Hybrid. I've sold the 14 6.5 trilogy that I had to a very nice man who's now happy because he has a matching snare for his kit. The Gentleman Series 14.8 Cravioto Walnut, the Dave Mattox one. That's the matching snare for the 15-inch version for the wood fiberglass. Star Reserve 4, Charlie Benanti Signature, the 5.5 trilogy in green sparkle, Supralight 15.4. Where are we? Star Reserve, the original one, the 14-inch version of the wood fiberglass. I think that's the George Way, actually, that unmarked Yamaha box. The Dynasonic. I've tried to keep this lot all Tama, except for the stuff in cases there. You know, so you've got the Star Curly Maple, the copper. I actually don't remember what's in that box. It's the British Drum Company. That's actually a DW 15 by 6. Don't remember what's in those top 2 cases, but the rest of it behind it's all Tama. You've got the Akutin Custom there, which is in the Noble Akuli box. There's a Donette up there and some other bits and pieces. My stick rack, which is a little bit obscured, obviously, but that's actually really cool. I mean, it was about 40 quid, but I had so many excess sticks and things that it's nice to put them somewhere that they're, you know, it's all organised. There's my gigging stick bag, which ironically is never being used to gig yet. That's the Vic Firth, the giant thing, the pro bag thing that they came out with. I reviewed it and I thought it was excellent. That basically, the pockets on that are so big you can get a MacBook Air in it. It says about putting a tablet in there, but you can put a MacBook Air in the pockets of that thing. It is that big. It's huge. Some more symbols and things down there. I'm not going to get them out. And there's a hardware case under there as well with some more stands and arms and things, full tomos. More snare drums and cases. Spare heads. These are lightly used ones, really. That have got plenty of life in them. That's a case full of cases. Star Reserve 3, Tama 13.7 Kapoor. Don't remember what's in that. Symbol case. This is like, well, obviously there's symbol cases there. There's some more over in the corner as well. That's a flight case. That's a Simmons flight case with mostly Piety in it. Everything sort of 18 and below. Just spares. There's some 12-inch snare drums. Now that one I can say with definite, that is the Pearl Masterworks 12 by 7 in purple Tamo finish. It's lovely. Then moving up, I've got rid of a load of Yamaha Ludwig snare drums in the last sort of couple of years. No real reason, but I just wasn't playing them and it seems silly to hold on to. So you've got, there you go, you can sort of get an eye of what's down there. A couple of Acrolite prototypes there. Leading Ludwig New Era. There's a WFL sort of super classic type thing. And there's some other bits off in the corner. There's the Green Gold Green Luddy Pioneer and something else in the corner. I can't remember what it is. SQ2, that's a wonderful, SQ1 actually, sorry, that's a wonderful drum. Tama Artwood from the 80s. You've got 1995 Janista there. It's rather dirty because I haven't played it in ages. I got this XPK basically because it matches the kit. And that's probably about the only thing I can say about it. It don't sound that great, certainly at the moment anyway. But I need to fix it up a bit more, spend some time with it. But I got it for like 50 quid, so it was like, I'll get it for completeness and not much else. But Artist Blanche Roots, that's a great drum. Oh, wow, that's a bit dusty, isn't it? That's a bit embarrassing. I didn't know that. That's the Spawn 24 ply. I mean, it's a great drum, but obviously I haven't used it for a little while. Some small Tama bits and pieces, mini Timbales up there. The stick is Charlie Benantes from the late 80s. Manu Katché. To be honest, I don't really use that Manu Katché, but I've got the kit, so I can't really sell that and then keep the kit because, you know, it'd be a bit pointless. I did sell the Oak Custom recently because I just never played it and I was never going to play it. But the rest of these Yamaha, this is kind of like my little Yamaha stash, and this is basically what I'm keeping. I know I could probably, you know what, I've got probably about 1,000 quid's worth of Yamaha drums just sitting there in the Bamboo and the Anton Fig. But, you know, I like those drums. I'm going to use them. They're fantastic. But more spare heads anyway. So this thing here, I'll come back a little bit. So as you can sort of see, I've done the same thing here. If you saw the last video I did of these, they're in here. This is kind of, it's about 6 foot long and about probably 4 foot high. It kind of makes it easier to get to things. Now there's there's probably about 5 bass drums and a gong drum. The gong drum being the crumpled case there. But yeah, I've got that. That one, I think it's actually empty at the moment because there's something waiting to go in it. The bottom one is the 26, the Heyman 26, and there's other various bits and pieces in there. But and there's actually, to be honest, there's some snare drums under there as well. I managed to slip in, and you can see the Swing Star kick drum there, the Oyster Pink, which is kind of hidden off in the background. But I just felt this was easier. It was all about getting things to be a little bit more accessible, which I think I've managed, even though, as I said, it kind of makes it look like I've got stuff just randomly stacked up now, but it is actually slightly more practical. So all the Craviotto bag stuff is there. It goes too deep. Obviously, I'm not going to get everything back just to show you, but you know, because it is all just cases, but it's all too deep. So they're all the Craviottos that are on display or bag or in boxes. But you've got the little name from New Zealand. That's the AK, the VK cast 13.7. You've got, I think that's actually the Jatoba. DW Purple Heart. That one is the other VK. Well, it's the aluminium VK. And that one is that's actually it's an AK case. That's AK this time, but it's actually a Spawn drum inside, which is the 13x7 hybrid, and it's it's maple acrylic maple, which I've never done a video on, so I may do at some point. Trick, as can be noted from the box, that's actually Trick 14 6.5 copper, 3mm copper. Well, that one's fairly self-explanatory, so I won't bother. In fact, so's that one. That one is the Tama 14x10, you know, like the ballad snare sort of thing. And then you got there's a Highwood there. The granite case is actually the Tama Bell Bronze, you know. So it kind of works a little bit better in terms of accessibility. Everything except, you know, except the stuff in this corner, which largely I'm never going to try and get at in a hurry. You know, as I said, there's some cymbal cases in there which I can get to. That bottom case thing there is the same as the one by the door, and that's just basically got cymbal arms and floor-tom legs in, actually. So even I've still got the same head stash there. They're all the new ones, and then basically this bit hasn't changed. You've got the Birch Custom Absolute bass drum, the SLP floor tom, and then this is kind of a mixture of the SLP, the Bubenga, Star Classic, and then down the bottom you've got the kick drum for the wood fiberglass and the SLP, and the Paisley thing in the background there. I've got, that's the 13-inch timbale. I actually, for years I used an Alex Acuna Yamaha timbale, and then I happened to see Drummers Only up in Scotland were doing, they had an eBay auction, and so it was for two 13 and 14-inch Pearl Afro, which was the sort of percussion line that they did for a while, timbales, and I won both of them for a whole £40. So you know, I mean, they've been played, but you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, does it? So I got two nice timbales that matched basically the wood fiberglass kit enough to where it didn't look, you know, I mean, the Alex Acuna was like white sparkle, and these are brown, so it kind of works. So so the other one that you'll see is in the other room in a minute, but so that's basically the front rooms. As I said, I'm happily walking around. I've had to take some junk out of here to actually do this, some review stuff, which hasn't gone back yet, but I've got a lot more space in here now than I actually did have. So let's go through to the back. Okay, so I've had a little bit of a change around out here. Mainly, I had some bass drums up in this corner, and I kind of got rid of them. Well, I didn't get rid of them. I put them here instead, because it just made more sense to do that, so I could get more on the rack. So, no particular order. The 14 by 6.5 Q 3mm brass plate drum. Big heavy bugger that is. Trilogy bass drum. I don't know why I just pull that off. There you go. Makes more sense to do that, really, doesn't it? There you go. So the Trilogy bass drum, the green sparkle Star Classic, and then the two XPK kick drums. Just some spares on the floor. There's a couple more. Now those cymbal cases have kind of got more stuff that I more immediately like in there, and then underneath that blanket there's actually a load more sort of small effect symbols and things like that. It's about the only apart from some DVDs, it's about the only non-drumming related thing I have in here are the Star Wars bobbleheads, because I just think they're cool and I like them, and you might have seen a couple more in the other room in boxes still. But so this is the BLX that I got at the beginning of 2021. I have a thing for old 80s and 90s drums, particularly Pearl and Tama. This kit's from about sort of 87, 88, and I love it. It sounds great. Didn't pay that much for it. It came with all new brand new heads on it as well, except for the front head and the kick drum. So I think in some ways I paid a little bit more than than the drums are worth, but generally I rehead kits anyway. Yeah, for the most part, I'll rehead them. So it's one thing. It's save money, but also, sort of spend a bit more extra money, but save money, I suppose, in the long run, and the hassle. So yeah, that came with all new Evans heads on it, all new clears. That's the 14-inch timbale I was just talking about. The Heyman Tom at the back there. That's the 13. I've got a 16, and that goes with the 26-inch bass drum. In 8.5 odd years of doing these videos in here, I have never once set that kit up. So I will do it at some point. I mean, as I said, it's a 26-inch kick drum. It's a bit of a beast, but kind of don't really. I don't need it. I don't do anything that needs a 26-inch kick drum at the moment. So it's kind of why it stayed where it is. The toms sound fantastic though, really do. That's obviously the Mod Orange Sakai Trilogy, which I did have up recently. Right, so another Pearl 90s kit. This is it's catching the light slightly, which is a bit annoying because you can't really see what a wonderful blue that is. Well, I suppose you can, but it's not as good as it could be. That's a Session Elite kit from I think it was between sort of 91 and 94. And from reading the brochure, that blue, certainly at that point, that blue was only available on those drums in that line. I don't know if that changed, but a lovely blue it is. Sonophonic kit. That was the first kit of 2021, which I bought. And then I promptly said, I'm not going to buy any more kits this year. And I think I bought 4 more since. So, hey, what do I know? I've sold a bunch of snare drums. I think I may have mentioned that. SQ2 toms, the 15 is in that hard case there. That much I do know. The Krav kit, the Janista. I know I've actually bought, since I originally bought that kit in 95, I've more recently, in the last couple of years, managed to buy a 16 and another 10. So I have a 10-inch standard tom, which is that one. I've got a 10-inch power tom, which I paid about 56 quid for on eBay one Sunday night. It was great. I was in the middle of a meeting with a bunch of my drummer friends, and you'll all know who you are. Yeah, I picked that up on eBay as we were talking. So no bugger was basically putting any bids on it. And I thought, well, okay, I'll have that because you know, why not? So okay, reason for 210s. You can get 8-inch toms. Apparently they are quite rare, and I'm not paying a few hundred quid for an 8-inch tom for a kit that I don't really use enough to justify that. But so I could do the standard will be up slightly, and you know, if you're looking at a scale of sort of regular tuning would be about a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Then I would probably tune that tom in front of you probably up a bit, so it was like nearer to a 6, and the 10-inch power tom probably down a little bit, so it was like a 4. So it would be either side of sort of roughly where my regular tensioning would be. Thomas Swingstar, which admittedly I got in December 2020, and I've still not played, mainly through buying other kits. The Star, which funny enough on camera looks a lot lighter than it actually is in person. It looks, this is a kit that's kind of quite deceptive because when there's light on it, you can kind of see that the dark mocha sort of walnutty kind of finish. But when there's no light on it, it looks an awful lot darker. It almost sort of looks black. It's a lovely set of drums. Had that up fairly recently for a little while. I feel I'm a bit cursed with it because the bass drum seems to attract little nicks and knocks on the hoops, which is really quite depressing, but yeah, unfortunately. Right, Brett Biggs, I'm saying hello again. Please don't drop your tea or spit it out or anything like that. I got this Green Sparkle kit right the day the UK went into lockdown in 2020. And I'm glad I did. I love it. It's in funny size, well, not sort of funny sizes as such. It goes 10, 13, 14, 16, 22. So obviously there's a 12 missing there. The violet shade, which is there, is 8, 10, 12, 14. And they're all hanging. So I kind of, like, if I did ever do like a recording where I wanted to use that maple, the thin maple shells, obviously I just take the 16 off of the Green Sparkle. But both from I think from the 90s, I love both of them. I always wanted a kit in Green Sparkle. I don't know why I have this thing for Green Sparkle. I do. I just love that Green Sparkle. And the gold hardware, I think that was the first kit, if that's the only kit I've got, that's actually got gold hardware. I've got a load of snare drums, but yeah, I like it. I do like it. The middle tom there is the, what was it called? Light Jade, I think it is. Star Classic Bubinga. So that was actually one of the later ones. So, I mean, I've had it a few years. It was made in China. I don't really see any issues with it. The other 2 Star Classics are made in Japan. And then you're moving on to the Rockstar Pro, which is in Cherry Rose. And then you've got the Grand Star in Cherry Rose. And then you've got the recovered Art Star 2. Now you may see there's a slight difference in shade between that middle drum and the 2 that are flanking it. That's because it's an Art Star ES, which I picked up for 50 quid. And at some point I'll just get recovered to the other whites. I'm not really that precious about it. So I thought that the Art Star 2 kit basically runs 10, 11, 13, 14, 16. So I figured I get a 12 for cheap and just recover it, and what the hell. Acrylic corner sort of thing. Well, not corner really, but then you've got the Crystal Beats, you've got the RCIs, you've got some Rototoms, which are obviously sort of spotted around everywhere for nowhere else to put them. RCI snare drum. Now that on top of the snare drum is a Remo tunable sound shape, not too dissimilar really in principle from the Rototoms. Sounds a little different, but I've not found a use for it yet, but I will do. It's quite a cool little drum. And then you've got the bass drum, you know, the Artstar bass drum, the Crystal Beat, the RCI bass drum, and then that's an 18-inch XPK floor tom. There you go, right, that's up in there, and the top case is the DW titanium. I'm not sure what's in that bottom case. 16-inch Janista in the corner. There you go, the Donette Cocobolo. I can't remember what that is in that next one. I think that may be the Pearl Soprano, actually, the liquid amber. The next one in the hard case is definitely the Brady, 12x7 Brady. And then you've just got some other bump in the corner, some microphones and speakers. And then basically what you can't see is the Manu Katché Hip Gig kit. Moving along, right, so it's another kit I've never managed to do on this channel. Mainly, I used it for like 15 years as my regular gigging kit, that Birch Custom Absolute. And it's a great kit. And then I kind of just moved back. It's 10, 12, 14, 20. And then I kind of moved back away from 20s to 22s. Well, I just fancy the change again, really. Used that kit once since I sort of not retired it as such, but I used the kit once after I'd put all new Evans G2s and G1s on it. I don't know if it was just the clear head thing. It just didn't work. I've got to look at it again. It's not the fact that it's Evans before anyone starts bitching and saying Evans are rubbish. They're not. But my Club Custom, which I've referenced a few times, I love those drums. I really do. I lusted after one of those drums for a long, or set of those drums for a long time. I was lucky enough to pick them up a few years back. So I sold the 13-inch Edge recently because there didn't really seem to be much point in having three of them. They're all basically the same similar size. Now this yellow drum, I love this yellow drum, Star Classic Birch. Now this has been owned by two drummers you may have heard of, Alan French and also Gary Husband. Now I know that Gary Husband is quite an up and coming drummer, but I'm sure you'll come across him in his playing sort of a little bit more in the future. 13-inch Oyster Pink Pearl, and yes, it's the 2002 Spirit of 2002. It's upside down. Well, yeah, arguably I probably shouldn't have it there, but you know, that's where it is at the moment. Gretsch Broadcaster. No, it's not. It's a Gretsch Brooklyn. You'd think I'd get that right, really, wouldn't you? The Swing Star, which is kind of just up there for, well, it came with the kit. Pearl Reference Pure, sorry, in satin rose finish. I love these drums. I haven't actually managed to play them yet because of a little technical issue, which I'm not going to go into, but boy, they sounded good when I heard them though. And I love that finish. I know some people aren't a big fan of the lugs. I'm kind of torn on them, really. I think maybe they could have been a bit smaller, but I don't mind it. I do like it's an aluminium Opti-mount, which I think actually looks really nice in that sort of chromed out finish, as opposed to sort of the blackened chrome that it was. Right, so it's missing a snare drum basically because it's on the kit there. But that's the Signia. So the one that's missing is actually the 14x4, or is it 14x3.5? I can't remember. These are all basically brass free floaters. I just basically got all four of the sizes. So these three are the earlier ones, and the one that's on the kit is actually a later one because it's got rounded posts. One of my all-time favourite metal drums, the aluminium Pearl. I mean, the rest of these are all Pearl anyway, really. The Custom Z with Masters as was pointed out to me recently, which, I used to look at that drum and go, it doesn't, there's something about those lugs which, I just, the penny never dropped really. I don't know why. I mean, I've looked, it's not like I haven't looked at like the Custom Z kits or anything like ever. I should have really, noticed, but they've been changed out. Not that it bothers me, makes the drum a little bit more unique really. You've got like the professional series snare drum. I don't know if it was like a DLX. You used to be able to get it with the DLX, I think. Crystal Beat, and then one of the other. That was kind of like my also run in my favourite metal snares, because, oh damn, that's a good drum. It's the Pearl Tico Torres signature free floater, 3mm thick aluminium shell. Powerline 106. It's the Grand Star snare drum. John Tempesta. My only 6.5. Star Classic, which obviously matches the kit. The Occultree, the Sona Artist Bronze, and the Q 3mm thick steel plate snare drum. Well, there's the recording stuff. At the moment, I've got something's sort of happening between these two things, and it's not working properly. So I've been using the Mackie to do stuff, which is fine. I mean, the Mackie is actually my. I did a video on this a few years ago. The Mackie is actually my in-ear rig, or my live rig, I suppose, which leads into my in-ears. So I've been using that instead. There's some snare drums down here, including my Provenance VW and a Donette 2N steel. It's funny. I was talking to someone. Well, I did something the other day. I think I was talking to someone and said about, I've got some steel snare drums, and I couldn't remember. And then I keep like coming across other steel snare drums, which I completely forgot I had. The Provenance being one of them, the 2N being another. There's still got two Club Customs there. They're both set up differently. The Odery, the Provenance cast steel, it's a 13x9. And that's a bit of a beastie actually. It's the same size as that Tom basically. It's a great drum. Kind of doesn't do as much as you might think. I mean, I found, because it's a thick aluminium shell, I found that it kind of it does medium to high better, I think, than trying to get a lot of low end out of it. But it's still a great drum. I still like it. It actually it was the drum that basically, well, it played with that kit. It was the one with the Kylie kit, the Craviotto kit. But there you go. So that's oh yeah, the one obvious thing. the one obvious thing I forgot: the kit on the floor. I was just sitting behind it as well. This is the the rest of the Pearl Session Elite kit, which I'll do a video on. As I said, I think I can't remember what the shade is of the blue. It's a lovely colour though. I think you can get a better idea of it. It's a fantastic blue. 10, 12, 13, 16, 22, 16. I mean, all very sort of standard sizes. Oh, and there's the piccolo. I wanted to do something a little bit different with this kit. It's birch mahogany, which I haven't got anything of. But I kind of fancy just putting. I originally wanted to go with a sort of concert tom vibe, so I got some hoops basically that I took out. So this kit actually originally came with the original bottom heads on, so they're like 30 odd years old. So I'm just get rid of them because they're not going to sound good. I cut them. I cut the plastic out and just had the hoops basically, so I could keep the bottom heads on, but to protect the edges and stuff, but effectively have them as concert toms. It kind of just, I think maybe I need to put sort of ambassadors on the top so I get a bit more crack out of them. But I kind of wanted to put the dots on, the CS dots on them. So I kind of just relented, and I put some clear ambassadors on the bottom, and you know what, they sound great. They really do. They're all power toms, very of the era, but yeah, I mean, I do like it. You know, the CS dot sound is very much a sound, but yeah, the great drums. You know, I think the 13 needs a bit of a tweak because it sounds a little bit flat and it's I don't like I don't normally do 12 and 13. I need to clean up the 14. So normally I think normally I would have done 10, 12, 14, 16. So you get a better interval there. It's very easy to inadvertently tune the 10 at the 12 and the 13 so they sound the same. There's just not enough difference for me between the two drums size wise, and you just inadvertently just tune it, and then you know think you get a good sound with, like, you know, on the 13, and then you hit the 12 and it's exactly the same. And you go, oh, all right, fair enough. So it's fine. It's fine. It's just a little bit flat at the moment, which I need to sort of. I think I've pitched it better this time now. I've had another go at it, but I think it just, yeah. I'm not a fan of 12 to 13, and I did forget actually. Obviously, you've got a whole row of bass drums there. So there's 8 bass drums along that bottom bit, and then, as I said, there's 2 more in the corner, and some other bits and pieces knocking around. So at the present time, I still don't know how many kits I have. I've been deliberately avoiding counting them. I don't know. I mean, it's I think it's more than 25 and less than 28. I mean, that would be my guess. But I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm kind of keeping that as a fun little secret for myself. So I may have a count at some point. And if I do, I'll let you know. But I hope that was fun. And I'll see you again.